In a modern digital ecosystem explicitly engineered to treat human attention as currency, choosing to remain unseen is a radical act of psychological defiance. Every platform you open is designed to reward visual exposure, constantly pushing you to broadcast your face, your location, and your lifestyle in exchange for fractional drops of dopamine through likes and metrics. The mainstream culture looks at individuals who refuse to upload their photos and diagnoses them as insecure, antisocial, or out of touch. But behavioral psychology reveals a completely different reality. Choosing not to post your face online is often the hallmark of a highly autonomous, strategically protective mind. Why do some of the most emotionally stable, high-performing individuals completely withdraw from the visual economy? And what do they understand about the value of privacy that the rest of the world has completely forgotten? Welcome back to Sigma Intelligence. On this channel, we focus heavily on asset allocation, security, and building long-term sovereignty. But true security isn't just about protecting your capital. It's about ruthlessly guarding your personal data, your mental energy, and your identity footprint. Today, we are putting superficial social media habits under a clinical lens. We are exploring the hidden psychology of the unindexed individual, mapping out the architecture of low validation dependence, evaluating the cognitive cost of digital curation, and explaining why treating your personal image as an elite, high-value asset is the ultimate power move in 2026. To understand the psychology of someone who refuses to post their photos, we must first look at a fundamental concept in behavioral science: validation independence. The vast majority of human behavior on social media platforms is driven by a deep-seated evolutionary need for social proof and tribal belonging. When someone posts a curated selfie or a travel photo, their brain is hunting for external validation to reinforce their internal self-worth. It is an active transaction. Look at my life, confirm my value, and pay me an attention. Individuals who do not post their photos have opted out of this transactional loop. Psychological profiles show that these minds possess a highly centralized source of internal validation. They do not require a digital echo chamber to verify their success, their appearance, or their lifestyle. For them, an experience retains 100% of its value even if nobody else witnesses it. By refusing to upload their likeness, they are actively treating privacy as an elite commodity. They understand that the moment you share an image of yourself, you hand over a piece of your personal sovereignty to the public domain, allowing strangers to build a narrative about who you are. The second psychological marker of the non-posting individual is a sharp awareness of cognitive overhead. Every photo uploaded to a social platform requires immense mental maintenance. Before you post, your brain evaluates angles, lighting, filters, and captions. After you post, your prefrontal cortex is hijacked by a continuous diagnostic loop. Who viewed it? How fast are the likes accumulating? What did that specific comment mean? This creates an ongoing background drain on your psychological bandwidth, energy that could otherwise be used to build real-world assets, master new skills, or scale a business. People who keep their faces off the grid are often protecting their focus perimeters. They realize that the digital curation of a self-image demands an exhausting amount of emotional labor. By remaining visually anonymous, they eliminate the performance anxiety associated with digital vanity. They don't have an online brand to protect, no public aesthetics to maintain, and zero interest in managing a digital avatar. This psychological detachment allows them to move through reality with absolute freedom, operating at peak efficiency because their internal engine isn't constantly burning fuel to sustain a fictionalized, online version of themselves. Now let's look at this through the lens of tactical intelligence and strategic obscurity. We are living in an era dominated by advanced data scraping algorithms, mass facial recognition databases, and sophisticated social engineering. Highly analytical people do not view social media platforms as harmless playgrounds. They view them as digital intelligence gathering nets. When you consistently post your photos, you aren't just sharing a memory with friends. You are voluntarily feeding biometric data, behavioral patterns, consumer preferences, and geographical coordinates into global corporate models. A non-posting individual often displays high structural risk aversion. They treat their digital footprint the exact same way a disciplined investor treats an exclusive portfolio. They minimize unforced exposure. They recognize that in a hyper-connected world, obscurity is a brilliant defensive shield. Remaining unindexed makes you incredibly difficult to track, manipulate, or profile. It keeps your personal life entirely decoupled from your professional execution, ensuring that your real-world authority can never be undermined by context-collapsing digital algorithms. Audit your digital footprint right now. If you feel an anxious, compulsive urge to take a photo of your face, your food, or your environment every single time you go out, have you realized that you have allowed tech algorithms to turn your actual, living life into a continuous production line of content for their platforms? If your happiness only exists when it is validated by a screen, you aren't using social media. Social media is harvesting you. Reclaim your boundary. How do you transition from a state of digital hyperexposure to a position of psychological strength? You don't have to delete your account or go live in a cabin in the woods. You simply need to practice information asymmetry. First, shift from consumer broadcasting to strategic consumption. If you use social platforms, utilize them exclusively as tool sets for communication, market research, or networking. Use a neutral avatar, an abstract design, or a professional logo instead of your personal visage. Let your work, your ideas, and your capital speak for you, rather than your physical coordinates. Second, cultivate experiential exclusivity. Force yourself to keep your highest value moments entirely off-camera and off-grid. When you achieve a major milestone, secure a financial victory, or spend premium time with the people who matter, seal that perimeter completely. By keeping these moments unshared, you protect their emotional purity, transforming them into sacred internal anchors that fuel your true confidence, entirely independent of public opinion. Ultimately, the psychology of people who don't post their photos online isn't defined by fear, isolation, or a lack of confidence. It is defined by an absolute abundance of self-sovereignty. They have broken free from the digital panopticon because they understand that your face, your life, and your daily movements are highly private, high-value properties that should never be bartered for cheap, fleeting validation. In a world where everyone is desperately screaming to be noticed, the individual who chooses to remain silent, unseen, and highly focused is the most dangerous person in the room. Protect your data. Secure your focus. Guard your perimeter. If this raw, psychological breakdown brought structural clarity to your digital habits and personal perimeters, hit that like button, subscribe to Sigma Intelligence, and let me know in the comments below. Do you actively post your photos online, or have you already transitioned into strategic obscurity? Let's break down the behavioral data in the comments below. I will see you in the next video.